Good morning and welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host Chum Change. This is live and recorded, and what we do here for anybody that's new is we go over crypto news from either the day before or this morning, and we talk about it with you guys. I normally do this by myself anyway, so I figured why not take you guys along for the ride. All right, let's see who's in the chat and then we'll go from there. Mr. Overboard Tech, appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for being here. First one in the chat, you're awesome. Andrew Masad, we have Nerd Beast in the house. Backwards Miner, what's up, dude? Leo Lustig, my man, appreciate you. Carl Coach, good to see you. Chris Hanley, Kyle Rosa, all set. We have Mr. Crypto KJ, congrats on the wrench, buddy. Congrats on the wrench. I figure you give me enough links and you always want me to open Discord, so I figured it's easier this way. Steven, what's up, man? Good to see you. Let's see. Dumpster Fire, good morning. Dakota Miner, good to see you. Sarah Pools, good morning. Good morning. Crypto Frank, my man. Perfect. Good to see you. We have let's see, Crypto Backer, good to see you, buddy. All right, everybody else I may have missed, I apologize. Let's get into this market. We started a little bit late. All right, looking like 41,376 for Bitcoin. Terrible. So terrible, isn't it? We have Ethereum 2489. Honestly, guys, Bitcoin's volatile. We went from, I know it went from 49 down to 41. It looks bad, right? We opened the ETFs at like 43.5 or so, almost 44. It went up, from the excitement of that and went back down to where it was. This is a normal pullback to me, to be honest. Unless we go to like 35,000, then we're not, to me, it's really not anything crazy. Let's see, we have Litecoin over here still in the green, 69 bucks. Again, I think Litecoin severely undervalued. That's just my opinion. Solana, $94. We have ADA at 49 cents, XRP at 55 cents, BCH at 236 if anybody's interested in that. Kaspa is down a little bit today, 10 cents, 10.1. We have ETCs also down, 24.13. Man, 24.13, crazy. TIA, looks like TIA is the biggest earner on the day, 512% up at $18.08. Crazy. Other than that, that's about it. Let's look at crypto bubbles over here. Let's check out I guess on the day, looks like Pulse chains kicked up 13.6%. Actually, that's the most profitable, the biggest earner. Let me use different words. The biggest earner of the day is Pulse chain, 13.6. Let's see, BTC halving is in 90 days, says Carl Coat. Absolutely, and that's I'm sure that's a catalyst of it, right? But at the same time, it's I think the reason for all this pullback stuff is things are switching gears to start talking about presidents. All right, it's going into the presidential election. Things are going to start switching gears out of the crypto's not going to be in the media 24/7 anymore. You know what I mean? It's going to be more about president stuff and a little bit of crypto. Let's see. All right, jumping over here to Fear and Greed Index. Nothing was really picking up over there on crypto bubbles or catching my eye anyways. We have neutral 51. Honestly, this is, to me, when things are neutral in the 50s, it's a decent time to buy, right? Obviously, it's better when you can get it down here and people are fearful. Be greedy when people are fearful, be fearful when people are greedy. Good old Warren Buffett saying, right? It's something to think about. I don't think anything's really too greedy until it's over like 70, 75. That's really when I start paying attention to this. But right about now, I mean, it's kind of just whatever. Get in or just stay out for a bit and see what happens. But you got to risk it to get the biscuit, right? Is that what a Geek of All Trades says? Steven Cicero, we're not talking about SIA, all right? It's Power Minds here.
Number one, I don't care. Please stop talking about this shit.
All right, that's how I feel about it. All right, top 10 coins like Coin Market Cap over on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, XRP, USDC, Lido Staked Ether, Cardano, and Avalanche in 10th place again, or still. It is beating Dogecoin by $1.1 billion or so. All right, let's see. Where's Litecoin? Litecoin's still in 20th, still holding strong, 20th place. Let's continue down. Ethereum Classic is gotten into 26th place. It was in 24th the other day. It's at a $3.4 billion market cap. Anything else you guys would like to look at real quick before we jump off this screen? Kaspa's down again, it's 10 cents, 10.1, right? So we're at 41st place. Let's see. Linu, is how you say that? On fire right now? I don't even know what that is. Let's see. Let's look. Let's check it out. LINU. This thing? It is on fire. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. 24 hours has been up 183%. Man, these friggin' meme coins, man. What is this on? Look at that. It's on Ethereum. Interesting. Never heard of it. Never heard of this coin. Never heard of it. When did it come out, actually? Let's go to max. Oh, God. If this isn't a rug pull, if I've ever seen one. Look at this, though. Like, I mean, yeah, it's having a nice pump right now, but, like, look where it started. And look at the devs, which just took all the money out of the market. I don't know. I don't trust coins like this. But, hey, listen, meme coins you can make a lot of money on. So, buying when you get low and hope for the best. Throw in $100. At least it could be, you know, it could be worse. No, Steven Cicero, you dirty old bastard. All right, let's get into mining and see what the best earners of the day are. Oh my God. Oh my God. This looks terrible. The WinMiner K9, 10.3 terahashes. As you guys know, I like to timestamp these and see how much they go down over the time we've been doing this. So looking at the WinMiner K9, 10.3 terahashes, $78.43. This is the worst we've seen it so far. Again, obviously Kaspa's at 10 cents. So what do you want? I mean, it honestly, it could go back more, right? The hash rate difficulty and everything else equates to it. So this is just yeah, I don't know. This is gonna get worse and worse every single day, as Max Voltage would say.
This hash rate's going bonkers. And
he's not wrong. He's not wrong. KS3, 8 terahash, making let's see, 59.39 per day. Let's see. Crypto KJ.
Number one, I don't care. Please stop talking about this shit.
All right, KS3M 6 terahash unit. Let's see, 4214. Ice River KS2 is making 13.89 a day. Honestly, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Actually, it was 17 yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was 16. I forget. The Jazzminer X16P, I actually have this on a solo mining test as of right now for Ethereum Classic. So I'm hoping I hit a block today. It's unlikely, but I hope so. It's making $20.03 a day. Again, this is minusing 10 cents kilowatt hour after you pay that electric. Let's see. We have the Ice River KS1 1 terahash making under $7 a day. Bruh. That's terrible. Jazzminer X16Q I also have on a solo mining test as of right now. It is making $6.78 per day. My L7 9050 is making, this is it's a 9050, so it's 9,050 mega hashes, right? We have $5.29 per day. I got this down in Terra hosting. Oh, actually, I'm glad I just said that. I totally forgot. Terra hosting tonight, Mr. Hawk Crypto Mining's channel. If you guys don't know, I believe he's going live around 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, and they're going to be giving away, I think it's either 1 or 2 ASICs, big ASICs like S19Ks or something. Like, it's going to be legit ASIC giveaway. Okay, so if you guys are here, if you're not subbed to Hawk Crypto, go check them out. Terra hosting is going to be giving 2 of those 2 units away. I don't know exactly which ones they are, but they're going to be 2 big ASICs, and they're giving away 2 months of hosting along with it. So it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic, or as Hawk would say, biblical. I hate when he says that. It's so lame. But anyways, he does say biblical. All right, we're gonna see. I don't know if it's 1 or 2. I think it's 2 ASICs, but I know it's 2 months of free hosting. Yes, and that's why I put his emoji in the chat. You guys definitely should go check it out, though. All right, the Jazzminer X4 1U, let's see, is making $1.60 a day. That's kind of terrible. Let's see, where's the S19K actually? Where is it? S19K. I bought one a couple weeks back, and it's running down there as well. Where the hell is it? I'm gonna have to search it. Let's see, S19K, and then we're gonna get into GPUs and see how good GPUs are doing. Oh man, that's terrible. 120 terahash S19K, only making $2.75 per day. Again, this will only increase or decrease with the price of Bitcoin, right? And obviously after the halving, it's gonna really be bad. It's gonna really be bad. All right, let's get over to, let me get back to the home screen on that. Let's check out GPUs, see what GPUs are looking like. All right, top of the chart. Holy shit, Nexa's taking the top of the charts today on the 40 series and the 3090. Look at that. AIPG's also on the top of the charts. Xanos on top for the 7900 XT. We have Beam on top for the 3080 Ti. Grin's on top for the 6900 XT. Grin, is anybody mining that? Is anybody mining that coin? Weird. Hypera in Carlson is on the top for that too, the 6900 XT. That's been there for a little while, or was on a lot of the other cards. It's kind of strange how crazy different AMD is versus Nvidia when it comes to certain coins and just certain cards in general, right? Like looking at this one, 6800 is actually good on AIPG, but 6950 XT is green and hyper. It's so strange. It's crazy variations. But yeah, next it looks like it's on top of the charts for the highest profit, highest revenue. Interesting. Big black.
Number one, I don't care.
I'm gonna be using that all the time. All right, let's see real quick. So before we get out of the mining stuff, let's check out honey, right? Hivemapper has actually been doing fairly well. It's been holding around 25 cents, right? If anybody doesn't know, this is it has been listed on Coinbase, right? It's brand new news with that. And then I think it was listed, what was it, was it Monday? I don't know, it was a couple days ago. Tuesday, maybe? Tuesday? Yeah, it was Tuesday, right? I don't know, it was a couple days ago. Anyways, it was listed, and yeah, all these days are blending together. It's terrible. But yeah, so this is like a Google Maps dash cam, basically, right? Like it's more or less, you know, those Google cars with the cameras on the top. That's pretty much what Hivemapper is. If anybody's here doesn't know, it's been paying out like absolutely insane, right? I think I drove around for like a day. I think I got like 6,000, maybe 10,000 images tops. I think it was like 6, to be honest. And I got like 150 bucks in honey in my wallet. And it was pretty, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Leo Lustig said, did you guys see the weather miner tech? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not into that shit. Mr. Leo Lustig. I appreciate the video, but yeah, that stuff's not for me. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be different. Maybe if I got one for free, I would make a video on it. But other than that, I'm not gonna jump into any more of these like helium weather fucking bullshit, to be honest. Let's see. I spent 150 in gas. No, literally only cost me like 20 bucks. Not even $20 in gas. All right, let's see. ETC pile. Let's check that out. How bad is that? Oh god, my mouse just went nuts. ETC pile. Let's see how bad that is.
You are a loser. You always lose. Bruh.
That's terrible. 22 cents. That's really bad. This one's falling off a cliff. Falling off a cliff, rather. If I could speak normal. Let's see. 1 month. Look at this. 1 month from $1 to 22 cents. Let's see. 3 months. Went from $2.60 down to 22 cents. That is awful. This thing's gonna be fighting to survive. That's terrible. You know what they need to do? They need to bring this to mining. That's what needs to happen. It needs to turn on so you can mine it with your ETC hash. That's what needs to happen. Get it out of this fucking stake only BS or node only BS. It's really the only way this thing's gonna survive, in my opinion. All right, let's get into the news. So I want to first, we're going to start off with Crypto World, CNBC television. Federal judge grills Coinbase SEC on whether digital assets are securities, right? So they're going to talk about all of this stuff, and then we're going to get into Anthony Pompliano and Altcoin Daily, as we typically do. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. I would appreciate you. Let's do it.
Today, new research reveals cybercriminals are continuing to ditch Bitcoin for stablecoins. Coinbase and the SEC get grilled by a federal judge as the agency's lawsuit against the crypto company heads to court. And Valkyrie's chief investment officer weighs in on why Bitcoin is in the red following the launch of spot ETFs in the US.
Eat shit, Gary.
Don't forget, presidential election is half the reason.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Talia Kaplan.
My
Crypto
opinion.
prices in the red this morning. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin dipped 1%, falling below $42,000. Ether dropped nearly 2% to the $2,400 level, and Polygon's Matic token sank nearly 6%. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. The SEC and Coinbase squared off in front of a federal judge yesterday. Coinbase made the case that the SEC's lawsuit, which alleges the exchange offered unregistered securities, should be dismissed. The SEC, on the other hand, pushed back on that argument, urging the judge to move the case forward.
Eat shit, Gary.
Unfortunately, both sides will have to wait for an answer. According to Reuters, after grilling both parties on the legal precedent for securities and crypto tokens during the 4-hour hearing, the judge said she was still weighing some questions before coming to a decision. The case has been
I guess we won't get a decision for what, a couple months, a month or two or so.
Closely watched by the crypto industry to understand just how much power the SEC has to regulate the space. Next, Gemini told CNBC exclusively that the firm has been awarded crypto registration to launch its services in France. The crypto exchange, which was founded by twins Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, said it was approved as a virtual asset services provider by the French markets watchdog. The firm added that it would roll out its products to retail and institutional clients in France in the coming weeks as it completes final preparations to open its whole platform to French users. A Gemini executive told CNBC that during a visit to the European Union last year, the company's founders realized that in Europe there is both a strong sense of regulatory support for the industry, but also much needed regulatory clarity on the horizon with the EU Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation, which is due to take effect this year. The development comes as major U.S. crypto companies are turning to the EU to expand their operations, driven in large part by a regulatory crackdown from U.S. regulators, including the SEC. Last January, Gemini and crypto lender Genesis were charged by the agency with allegedly selling unregistered securities in connection with Gemini Earn, a high-yield savings product. Gemini denies its interest-bearing products qualified as securities and is trying to get the lawsuit thrown out. Last, Chainalysis released its annual crypto crime trends report this morning, revealing that illicit activity declined in 2023 compared to the year before, as scams and hacks dropped, but ransomware and darknet activity increased. According to this report from the blockchain intelligence firm, more than $24 billion worth of crypto was received by illicit addresses last year. That's a nearly 40% drop from 2022. The research also reveals that cybercriminals ditched Bitcoin for stablecoins, which accounted for the majority of illicit transaction volume in 2023, as they did in 2022. Before that, Bitcoin was the preferred crypto among criminals, accounting for a majority of transaction volume every year between 2018 and 2021.
Please stop talking about this shit.
All right, turning to spot Bitcoin ETFs for our main story. It has been exactly 1 week since these ETFs went live in the US. As of noon Eastern, all of them are in the red, down around 4% since they started trading last Thursday. So I spoke with Stephen McClurg, co-founder and CIO of Valkyrie Investments, one of the asset managers now offering a spot Bitcoin ETF, about how it's going and what has changed since these products launched.
I think it's funny how everybody expects, like, you know, the ETFs are approved, they expect it to just moon and stay up. Like, no, that doesn't change the volatility in the market.
Last time we spoke was in December, ahead of the much anticipated decision on spot Bitcoin ETFs. At the time, you told me that you had a high level of confidence that yours will get approved, adding that you thought all the applications will get approved all at once. Sure enough, your prediction came true. Now, you have been working on this since 2021, and now, about 3 years later, Valkyrie is offering spot Bitcoin ETFs. So after all this time and effort, how does it feel now that your ETF is trading on the NASDAQ?
It feels great. You know, we've definitely been working hard for the last 3 years to get this done. Also working on several other things while we're at it too. So while we were waiting on Bitcoin Spot, we decided to launch a Bitcoin mining ETF, a Bitcoin futures ETF, and even got into the game with ETH futures. So now we finally hit the pinnacle of everything that we've been working on, and it's either only downhill from here or only up from here.
And I'm sure you're hoping for the latter. But how's it going so far for you? Are you noticing there's demand for your product?
Yeah, we actually have quite a bit of demand. I'm actually surprised at how much demand there was in the first 3 days of trading across the board, across everybody's ETFs. I thought it was going to get out of the gates a little slower and ramp up towards the end of the year. But this was actually higher than what we predicted as far as flows go. And we do expect a lot more flows to come in once financial advisors have begun to evaluate managers, evaluate the funds, and evaluate the asset class themselves.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Asset managers really aren't pushing this thing yet. That's actually a good way to think about it, right? Because like once your financial advisor reaches out to you and asks if you want to get into, like, you know, they have the option to get into Bitcoin ETFs and stuff, it's that's going to change things a bit. More people are going to get into it. So I think it's going to be steady growth, to be honest.
What do you think has changed now that these ETFs are live, specifically as it pertains to the perception of crypto?
Yeah, what's interesting is I've spoken to several different institutions out there that oversee financial advisors and platforms. And what I've noticed is a very common thread that clients are calling their advisors asking for access to Bitcoin. And a lot of the advisors are having to say, no, we can't do that just yet. We're still understanding the asset class ourselves. And what a lot of them are telling their clients is that, well, maybe you want a Bitcoin adjacent ETF, such as Bitcoin miners or some other type of Bitcoin ecosystem fund. And that has seemed to be a very popular place for financial advisors to direct their clients while they're still trying to figure out Bitcoin.
Since launching, all the spot Bitcoin ETFs are in the red. That makes sense given Bitcoin is down, but why do you think the ETFs are down more than the cryptocurrency? And why do you think Bitcoin is in the red following that landmark decision? We saw an initial pop above $49,000, but then Bitcoin came back down. And when we spoke last time, you noted that the upcoming halving, coupled with the Bitcoin ETF approval, will move the cryptocurrency in a favorable way. So what do you think happens now that Bitcoin bounced back to the low 40s?
Look, I think what happened was a lot of people got excited and tried to front run the ETFs launching. So that drove the price of Bitcoin up a little bit higher than it should have been. So when the ETFs launched, the price of Bitcoin definitely came down following that first day. I do expect Bitcoin and subsequently the Bitcoin ETFs to trade pretty range bound through April or May, somewhere between 42,000 and 49,000. Then after the halving in April and after the Fed starts making its decisions in May, we should see a pickup in the price of Bitcoin. In addition to that, we're still not seeing the full effects of a Bitcoin ETF just yet. As I mentioned earlier, financial advisors are still looking at this asset class, still looking at the ETFs themselves, and trying to decide when's a good opportune time to put their clients in. And I do believe that that will be coming in the next 3 to 6 months.
He's probably right.
And of course, it will be very interesting to see if that happens. But 11 ETFs got approved all at once last week.
That's a really good point, right? Seems pretty legit. He has a good point. Yeah, it says I need money. Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that's an extremely good point. I didn't think of that at all, because there's still so many people that are going to be allocating their clients into it, and it's they need to strategize when the best time to get in is, and obviously it's not right now. That would be stupid. You'd just be losing money for people, right? You want to wait until it actually has a pullback and then get them in, right?
Clearly, there is competition out there, something that has played out through the race to lower fees. In fact, Valkyrie cut its fee just before launch to 0.25% and waived them for the first 3 months. What was behind that move? Was it the competition, and has lowering your fee proved effective?
Yeah, I think it has, because in this type of environment, you don't want to be the outlier in an ETF, but we're also not the low cost provider, right? We're not, we're not trying to be the supercuts of ETFs here. But I think we're somewhere firmly in the middle, not an outlier. We're within reasonable range, and we have reasonable expertise as well. So I think we can charge a little bit more than most. But how's it affected it? I don't think fees have really affected the outcome all that much. There hasn't been a strong correlation between fees and gathering of assets. The only correlations that I've seen is the ones that are the outliers on fees that are extremely high have either lost assets in the case of Grayscale or have not gathered as much compared to their size in the case of some others.
Real quick, we expecting to see lower than 40K, says Nismo Miner. I mean, honestly, I'm not a charter, right? So like, if you watch these trading guys, I mean, obviously there's a risk that it could go down. I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest, to see like, 38K, 35K ish, but I don't know. I mean, realistically, we're still floating around where we've been for the past like month, right? So I don't know. We're gonna see.
So with 11 options out there and all the competition, do you think we'll see consolidation among these ETFs in the near future?
And for the record, nobody knows. It's always a guess with Bitcoin.
I do think a few won't make it. But what I do expect to happen is that financial advisors and other institutions will probably move towards to the other managers that they have contracts with and sales agreements with. So that's going to be one of the factors. Typically, the way that advisors and money allocators work is they like to choose 2 or 3 different managers that run the similar style ETF or the same ETF. So usually one bucket is, the big manager that everybody knows, which is, like the BlackRocks and the Fidelities of the world. And then the other bucket is usually the niche experts in the space. And we hope to win over the allocators in that area as being experts in the space that focus on Bitcoin and not just, here for a quick run.
Last time we spoke in December, you said that you believe SEC Chair Gary Gensler is a, quote, big proponent of Bitcoin and this ETF launching. However, after spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved, Gensler joined CNBC Squawk Box and stressed that the move does not mean the SEC endorses Bitcoin, something he also said in a statement following the approvals. He also repeatedly warned investors to be...
Mr. 100 Air, appreciate you for the 5 gifted memberships, dude. You didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you keeping the stream alive. Black Hat Team, Enzo Mining, David Thrash. We have the Toxic Miner and Magic Lucky. Congrats.
Cautious about the risks associated with Bitcoin and products whose value is tied to crypto. So do you still think the SEC chair is a proponent of Bitcoin after all his public comments leading up to and following the approval?
I really do, and my comment really goes back to how progressive the SEC has been under Gensler. From the beginning, he's been supportive of launching Bitcoin futures in both ways, right? One in 1940 Act, one in 1933 Act. ETH futures, he's supported that, as well as the ability to launch a Bitcoin spot ETF, which we just had. Now, what he said is absolutely correct. The SEC does not necessarily support the investment thesis of any of publicly traded stock or any components of any ETF. All they're doing is approving the wrapper and approving that this belongs in capital markets. Any kind of investment decision is really up to the individual buying.
Now, McClurg also...
Nerd Piece just said that I wake up in an alternate universe. He said, what the hell is this dude giving Gary compliments?
Discussed whether he thinks the SEC might greenlight an Ether ETF now that spot Bitcoin ETFs are trading. And he answers whether Valkyrie will now feel compelled to file an application for a spot ETH ETF.
Perfect.
You'll be able to check out the full...
Again, 100 Air, you're awesome. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships. And Mr. Golden Wolf, appreciate you for being a member for 10 months. Good morning from Seattle. It's 5:45 a.m. Geez, that's so early. That's so early. All right, let's get over here. Bitcoin Data is given the green light. So this is Anthony Pompliano. To be honest, I really value his opinion when it comes to Bitcoin and everything else. So if you guys aren't subbed to Anthony Pomp, go check out the link in the description. I put his channel down there in this video, actually. So if you guys haven't subbed to him, go check him out. Hit that like button. Appreciate you all.
All right, guys. Bang, bang. I've got Darius here. Darius,
Bang, bang.
The macro weather model, what is it telling us? Look into the crystal ball. Where are we headed with financial asset prices?
What's up, brother, man? It's always great to be here with you and your audience, man. So just a quick summary. The last time we were on, the macro weather model was all green skies, all green lights. Stock market signal was bullish. Bond market signal was bullish. Bitcoin signal was bullish. This update, or at least going back to an update from last week, we are now seeing more neutral signals in terms of the rolling 3-month outlook for the stock market and the 3-month outlook for Bitcoin. It's not necessarily bearish signal in isolation, but directionally bearish relative to the condition that we were in. And the reason we've seen this change in signal is that we've had an inflection in one of the component features, specifically the sovereign fiscal balance to nominal GDP ratio that's now inflected to a positive trend, which means we are now seeing a reduced fiscal impulse as opposed to an increased fiscal impulse, which is what we saw throughout most of 2023.
Now, what does that exactly mean in terms of short term versus medium term? Like, how do we distill? Does that mean for 3 months we should, kind of be cautious, or is this like for the rest of the year? How do you think about timelines?
Yeah, 100%, man. So what this macro weather model does is it helps incorporate some of the most important signals from the economy in terms of how to think about market risk on a rolling 3-month forward basis. It's essentially a nowcast of everything that matters in the economy, whether you think about growth, inflation, liquidity, credit, positioning, fiscal policy, employment, all those things, all these different principal components of macro. What we're trying to do in this model is effectively nowcast the condition that those particular indicators are in, and then relaying those signals back into those composite signals in the middle of the page. And so when you see a neutral composite signal, that means you should expect normal returns in the asset class over the next 3 months, normal level of volatility. we were coming from a condition where we were expecting better than normal returns and lower than expected volatility for, again, the stock market and Bitcoin. And so we're moving in the wrong direction now, but again, not yet outright bearish.
Got it. Now, if we go to the second chart here, we've got fiscal policy, sovereign fiscal balance, and nominal GDP. What exactly is this showing us?
Yeah, 100%. So just look at the chart on the left. What we're doing with this chart is try to help investors understand how exactly the macro weather model works. And so what we're trying to do is regime segment, again, each of these component features, which represent the principal components of macro, into various conditions. And as you can see, we're coming from a condition at the bottom of that left chart there, where the sovereign budget balance as a percent of GDP was falling, which was projecting positive excess returns for things like the stock market, things like commodity markets, and importantly, Bitcoin onto the broader composite signals in the middle of the previous chart. We are now transitioning to a rising regime for this particular statistic, which ultimately means we're projecting negative excess returns for things like the stock market, commodities, and Bitcoin. And so at the margins, it shifted the overall calculus, going back when you incorporate all the different component features, it shifted overall calculus for the stock market and Bitcoin from bullish to neutral.
Got it. And then when we go and we look at the USD real effective exchange rate, one of the things that I see in there is the real effective exchange rate versus maybe what is always listed. What is like the big differences here? What do you see influencing that?
Yeah, 100%. So the real effective exchange rate just accounts for the changes in inflation across geographies. So this is a broad trade rated basket for the US dollar that tries to net out the fluctuations in inflation in the relative economy in our trading partners. And one of the things that we're currently in a rising condition now, which is contributing negative excess returns to the crypto market specifically. If you look at the back test down there at the bottom half of the chart, if we got into a negative trend in the US dollar, which is certainly a risk, given how overvalued the dollar is on a real basis currently, then we could actually be contributing some very positive excess returns to the projection for Bitcoin, as you can see there with the back test there at the bottom half of that chart. So, the jury's still out on, where if we're heading into a broader period of risk off for asset markets. There's a lot of macro catalysts on the horizon over the next few weeks that could really help determine that, not the least of which in a couple of weeks, we're going to get the JOLTS report. We're going to get the employment cost index report. We're going to get unit labor costs, and we're going to get productivity, and we're going to get the jobs report. And all that's going to help investors understand, hey, is all this immaculate disinflation we've been experiencing that's really perpetuated the current Goldilocks top-down market regime, is that immaculate disinflation process going to start to unwind? And if so, if it unwinds, then we're going to start to shift market pricing back into the no landing camp, which obviously is much more volatility in fixed income markets and likely more volatility for broader asset markets.
Now, one of the aspects I've been paying a lot of attention to is global liquidity.
I honestly enjoy the way he's editing this video. So shout out to Anthony Pomp for doing awesome. If you guys haven't subbed to him, go check him out in the link in the description below.
And it feels like tons of people that I talk to or follow are saying, hey, global liquidity has bottomed and we now are headed up. We should expect more and more of this to kind of slosh around in the economy. Is that what you believe as well? Or is that what you're seeing in some of the numbers?
Yeah, absolutely. So go back to that slide one where we show the macro weather model. The top right, where we show the right half of the table, we show the financial economy cycles within the 10 principal components of macro. The top component there is liquidity. So we have our 42 macro net liquidity model, which is the Fed balance sheet total assets minus the reverse repo facility balance minus the Treasury general account balance. That metric is trending higher. 42 macro global liquidity proxy was actually a more powerful tool. It's a much more statistically significant tool. That is the global central bank balance sheet plus global broad money supply plus global FX reserves minus gold. That statistic is trending higher as well. And we perform a lot of research from a statistical standpoint to understand the drivers and the leading indicators of these particular time series, because ultimately they have a lot of influence in terms of determining that composite signal there in the middle of the page, just like what we saw in the previous two charts. And so right now, if you look at the current constellation of leading indicators for our liquidity models, we're currently seeing what we should see is a continuation of the 42 macro net liquidity, positive trend in the 42 macro net liquidity, at least for the next quarter or two. And it's very likely that we continue to see a positive trend in our global liquidity proxy for at least another quarter or two as well, just given some of the dynamics that we are currently observing in the financial markets. So right now, if you break apart liquidity, we're not getting much liquidity globally from central banks. but we are getting a tremendous amount of liquidity globally from non-bank, or so from commercial banks and from non-bank financial market participants. They create liquidity as well. And some of the leading indicators like bond market volatility, currency volatility, broader asset market volatility, credit spreads, those things are continuing to signal that it's a good time to be taking risk as an investor, as a banker, as a non-bank financial market participant, and ultimately that liquidity creation is likely to persist. Now, is it going to persist all throughout the year, as some investors are suggesting? That remains to be seen. I don't know that we know enough. We don't know enough statistically in terms of the reported data yet to project that, but we certainly are in blue skies for at least for the time being, for at least the next quarter or two.
Now, what about fiscal stimulus? You've got this chart here it's a major contributing factor to the resiliency of household income, which is pretty interesting.
This episode is brought to you by Bet.
Gonna skip this real quick.
Use promo.
Yeah, 100%. So, so we just kind of going back to the original part of the conversation, we saw.
I knew it was coming too. That's why I checked the timeline. I'm like, it's got to be halfway. He's gonna put an ad in.
A positive inflection in the trend in terms of the budget balance as a percent of GDP. So we were seeing a positive fiscal impulse, i.e., the budget deficit was getting larger as a share of GDP. Now we're seeing a negative fiscal impulse on the margin, i.e., the budget deficit is getting smaller as a share of GDP on a trend basis. So some of the things that are actually causing that are some of the. So we saw a massive sort of positive fiscal impulse throughout 2023. That's something that contributed to the resiliency of the economy and also the resiliency of inflation in certain respects. But that's obviously dissipating at the margins. And one of the reasons we're seeing that dissipate is if you look at 2023's, the cost of living adjustment in 2023 was almost 9%. That number's down to about 3% for 2024. So things like Medicare and Social Security, which are 14 and 22% of the budget respectively, they're not going to be growing as fast in 2024 as they were throughout 2023. Right in 2023, if you look at it on a year-to-date, year-over-year basis, that was up. Medicare was up 17% year-over-year. Social Security was up 12%. We also had net interest. If you look at it, it's about 12% of the federal budget. That number was up about 41% year over year on a year-to-date basis throughout 2023. And so some of these dynamics, not the least of which was the lack of tax receipts that we got from localities like California, Hawaii, which contributed to a 16% reduction in federal income tax withholding. All these things were basically flooding money into the economy from the perspective of the fiscal authorities. And now that's not necessarily coming to an end, but it's slowed significantly in recent months. If you go back and you look at the year-over-year nominal delta in the federal budget deficit in June, it was up $834 billion. It was up $535 billion in August, and it's now up only about $364 billion in December. We would expect to see it somewhere around that plus 200 to plus 400 kind of $1 billion range throughout 2024, which is again, you're contributing, fiscal liquidity to the system from the perspective of the fiscal authority, but it's less than it had been, and so at the margins, it's a worse signal for asset markets.
Now, when you start seeing these households, obviously credit card debt has been rising very rapidly. The interest rates are at near all-time highs on that credit card debt. We also have about, I think it's 1.6 trillion student loans. There's like another 1.6 trillion maybe of auto loans. Like you just kind of go through this and there's trillions and trillions of dollars of debt that's piling up. Can the consumer continue to handle this? Like, is it as simple as just like leverage on the debt and almost treat your own balance sheet the same way the Fed's going to treat theirs, and they're just going to, basically monetize the debt. And if you just wait it out with them, then you'll be okay too.
Yeah, 100%, man. So one thing I think, I think it's important to contextualize when talking about leverage cycle dynamics, whether it be the household sector or the corporate sector, is understanding this on a more of a ratio basis as opposed to absolute basis. And when you look at the ratios particularly for the household sector, we're kind of at a more normal middling level in terms of a debt relative to household income. And more importantly, I would argue we're practically at all-time lows in terms of debt service ratios relative to that household income. And so there's obviously room for both debt service ratios and the debt itself as a ratio to the stock of income that we have to service that debt to rise over time. One of the things we split the atom open on in terms of our research here, 42 Macro, a while back, which obviously contributed to our resilient U.S. economy theme that we authored in the summer of 2022. One of the things that we understood at the time and continue to understand is that this business cycle has been perpetuated by income growth. it's, we continue to see a declining share of credit, financial, non-financial sector credit to GDP and relative to the growth rate of the economy. And so what that ultimately means is that there are levers that both the household sector and the corporate sector can pull some levers and twist some knobs to otherwise to lever up and actually perpetuate the business cycle forward. So we are not maxed out by any stretch of the imagination when it comes to household leverage, and we could actually go even much further. And one final statistic I'll throw at you in terms of the credit card debt, that's obviously a very big issue, and it's obviously the highest cost debt for the household sector. APRs somewhere around 25, 30%. Pick your card. But the reality is that household credit card debt, revolving credit as a percentage of nominal disposable personal income has been flat at around 5% for about 15 years now. And so, the banks are really smart about not overextending themselves from a leverage cycle perspective as a function of Dodd-Frank, as a function of the lessons they learned in the GFC. And that's ultimately why we're seeing some resiliency in this business cycle and why the probability of a soft landing remains higher than the probability of a hard landing or no landing.
Bitcoin. Everyone's talking about it. ETF got approved. You've got a chart here showing us, I think, good news.
Yeah, well, so we're transitioning from neutral from bullish in terms of Bitcoin. And so that's something to be aware of. And so this is just showing just quick context on the back test of those composite signals back there in that first weather model table. And so generally speaking, the big bull runs in Bitcoin happen when the macro weather is bullish. The big bear runs or the big crypto winters tend to happen when the macro weather model is bearish, and we're now kind of in a neutral signal. So it's telling us that we're about to either break back out to bullish or bearish. You shouldn't expect to remain in this neutral setting for too long. So definitely check back with us for that update.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news when it comes to the Bitcoin halving? Because I'm sure that's going to be, topic of everything within the next month or so, right? Everybody's going to be talking about the halving coming up. So I don't know. I'm assuming we're going to see more inflow.
ETF. Is there anything outside of just the charts, the graphs, kind of the models that you're thinking about? Wall Street is here. I joked recently and I said, when the suits show up, usually the fun is over. But at the same time, when capital is flowing in to a finite asset, the price should continue to go up. So how are you thinking about it maybe over the medium to long term?
Yeah, over the medium to long term, I mean, the same way we've always thought about Bitcoin, which is it's just another asset class. They're all squiggly lines that make us rich or poor, at the end of the day. That's kind of what these things are. That's how you have to treat them from a dispassionate standpoint as an investor in order to make sure you're not being, swayed by your emotions and your trading and investment decisions.
That was actually a great statement that he just made. It's all squiggly lines at the end of the day, and you do have to separate your emotions. We say that all the time. Everybody, even in VIP, there's people, like in Discord, where we talk during the day, talking about trading in and out of coins, you literally have to separate your emotions or you're always going to lose.
And so over the long term, obviously the ETF approval is a very positive fundamental. It's a structurally positive fundamental because we, going back, citing some of the research we performed in terms of our fourth turning, we did a deep dive empirical study on fourth turnings, what investors should expect from the economy, from policymakers, and ultimately asset markets. And one of the key conclusions from that study is that you should expect much more inflation over the next decade than we've experienced in recent years and recent decades, really. And as a function of that, you're probably going to see the 60-40 portfolio not necessarily struggle throughout the entire time, but certainly will not put up the kind of returns that is historically put up, in recent decades. And probably more importantly, from a portfolio construction standpoint, we're moving to a level of inflation, a persistent trend of an underlying trend of inflation that does not support the persistently inverse correlation between stocks and bonds that we've experienced throughout the last 40 years. And as a function of that, the interest in 60-40 type portfolios from institutional investors and folks who have their money with institutional investors, that interest is going to wane, and that 40, in our opinion, is going to start to be looking for other avenues to spill over into. And that's, going back to our KISS portfolio construction process, it's 60-30-10 for a reason. We're effectively saying, come here. If you got to sell 10% of your bonds or 5% of your stocks and 5% of your bonds, you're going to have 10% of your asset allocation pie needs to be allocated to something different than just your standard 60-40. And we think that something different is Bitcoin. And we're doing a great job helping investors all around the world risk manage that.
I think you're doing a great job. I learn every single time. Where can we send people to find out 42 Macro, sign up, and get some of this research for themselves?
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. So yeah, come check us out, 42macro.com. I'm on Twitter, DariusDale42. Hit me up on LinkedIn as well if you have any questions. We can definitely help you guys out. Appreciate you.
Shout out to Anthony Pomp for that video. Those two, they actually did an awesome interview this time. They did a good one last time too, but the guy, I don't know. He gave me a weird feeling last time, but I actually enjoyed that video very much. All right, let's see. We have why is Bitcoin crashing? Let's get into Altcoin Daily, and then we got to jet out of here. Hopefully you guys are hitting that like button. Appreciate you all. I hate asking, but YouTube makes me.
Cryptocurrency is crashing. Why? We told you this was happening a week ago. Bitcoin was $45,000. Why is this happening? How low can this go? Plus, 4 altcoins I'm looking at.
What do you guys think, actually? I want you guys to put your guesses in the chat for where we're going to go. I'm going to skip this because he says that make money comment.
Bitcoin is following the U.S. stock market right now. So the U.S. stock market is getting very close to hitting a fresh, new all-time high. Look at this. This is its previous all-time high. Time to pay attention. If the stock market breaks up, Bitcoin goes higher. If this is a double top and there's a fall down, then consolidation, Bitcoin goes lower. And keep in mind, Bitcoin is coming off of a 13-week run, and actually a much larger run if you go back to last year. So a short-term cycle top would be more than reasonable here. I mean, it has had a pretty great run for a while. So, hey, here's the thing. As long as $40,000 holds, there's hope for one more surge up before an eventual consolidation. Either way, it would actually be healthy to see Bitcoin's price chop around into a late March low.
That's true. That's true. I mean, we do have, again, the halvings in April, right? It's what, 90 days away or so? It's really not that far out of reach for people to start really talking about it. Within like the next month, we're going to see a lot of Bitcoin halving stuff coming up and people just jumping back into the market to buy the rumor, sell the news stuff.
I wouldn't be bearish on crypto.
And then there's this too, the presidential election, which is also coming up at the end of the year, right? So there's a lot more crypto when it comes to presidents now.
For too long, for 2 reasons. Number one, it's becoming increasingly unpopular to be anti-cryptocurrency.
That's so true.
In a political year, in an election year. Donald Trump just saying, as your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency.
Eat shit, Gary. And tonight I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. You know Eat shit, Gary. You are a loser.
And to fully understand where we are with this, you have to appreciate how
that's on regardless of how you guys feel about him. That's amazing. That's amazing that he even said that, right? I mean, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about it in the chat.
Or we've come. See, I remember Donald Trump saying, I don't like Bitcoin. Crypto is dangerous. It can cause an explosion like we've never seen before.
But he said it in a different way. He didn't say it like, I hate Bitcoin, right? He just doesn't like it against the dollar. He doesn't want something to compete against the dollar, and he said this years ago.
Cut to Trump in 2022 saying, I'm dropping my first NFT collection.
Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I was surprised. You know, with us, it was at 6,000 and much lower. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's a currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said.
What do you think about crypto? Because, you know, New York and Miami is really getting cryptocurrency into their financial system.
Well, I never loved it because I like to have the dollar. I think the currency should be the dollar. So I was never a big fan, but it's building up bigger and bigger, and nobody's doing anything about it. And it's, I know it so well. Look, I want a currency called the dollar. I don't want to have all these others, and that could be an explosion someday, like the likes of which we've never seen. It'll make the big tech explosion look like baby stuff. I think it's a very dangerous thing.
He's not wrong. And then in 2023, he releases his NFT collection. But the way he talks about Bitcoin, it's not like, you know, he doesn't think it's going to do well. He said it seems like a scam, right? He thinks, you know, he just wants the US dollar to be the number one currency. And I get it. I understand that. But everybody else, you know, like when BlackRock, Larry Fink, right, was against it, he was just like, you know, he would always say like just negative things about it. It wasn't like, I just want the dollar to do the best. Like he didn't, nothing like that. It was always just like F Bitcoin, like Bitcoin sucks. Like, no, it's fake. Like it's not real, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's kind of the difference here.
Hello, everyone. This is Donald Trump. Hopefully your favorite president of all time, better than Lincoln, better than
so
Washington.
cocky.
With an important announcement to make. I'm doing my first official Donald J. Trump NFT collection.
Did anybody buy into this? this ish? Did you guys buy into this? Anybody? I didn't, but I'm not a fan of these NFT bullshit pictures, but I would like to know if you guys bought into them. And Mr. Geek of all trades, appreciate you being here.
Right here and right now, they're called Trump digital trading cards.
So today, Trump is campaigning against CBDCs. And I mean, the question is, will Donald Trump...
Geek of all trades says not, but I got Trump beanie babies. Don't they have a Trump chia pet too?
keep this promise? We'll have to see. And really, I'm just waiting for the final clip. Trump saying, I like Bitcoin, I'm a pro-crypto president, or even Biden, or even anybody, because it's becoming increasingly unpopular to be anti-crypto in America, and politicians need to come around. Now, another big catalyst that could come very soon to the cryptocurrency market could be this, and that's the lawsuit, the SEC versus Coinbase, and then Coinbase countersuing Coinbase versus the SEC. So right now they're in court, and it's pretty interesting what's going on if you're paying attention. I hope it seems like the SEC is going to lose to Coinbase. So, quote from the SEC.
Amazing.
Coinbase says crypto is a $1 trillion asset class. We disagree that crypto is an asset class. It is a rounding error in the economy and requires no new laws. The U.S. equity market is 100 trillion and the global market is 400 trillion. Crypto is a rounding error. And this is why we call those in the SEC who are disingenuously fighting crypto bad faith regulators. They're trying to make the case that crypto is a rounding error. We are past the point of no return with crypto in America. This is my favorite moment of the arguments so far. The SEC says, well, the tokens themselves are not a security.
What?
Then Coinbase's lawyer says, that's what the folks in the back table think, Coinbase, and they're wondering why they're here.
What the fuck? What? Oh my God. This guy, Gary, just needs a new job. He needs to go work at McDonald's.
Love it. If Coinbase wins this thing against the SEC, this will be a huge catalyst. And then for those asking on an update on the spot Bitcoin ETFs, here's your update.
Wow.
Things are chugging along. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF hits 1 billion assets under management in 1 week, and flows are picking up. The more inflows, the better. It's interesting that the inflows into the ETF are picking up. Seems like people waited for the initial dust to settle and are now starting to bid. Altcoins that I'm liking on this dip. Now, if you subscribe to the channel, you know I'm an investor.
All right. So he's going to be investing in some of these coins. He's going to be an ambassador of some of these coins. So let's just take it with a grain of salt. Okay. Could have been paid to talk about him. Who knows?
And Mina Protocol, shout out to each and
that wasn't like a dig at these guys. Altcoin Daily is fantastic. And I understand they got bills to pay. So it makes sense, right?
Every builder in the Mina Protocol
take it as you
ecosystem
will.
who decided to go full-time building ZK apps, which is Mina Protocol. In a year where ecosystems lost 15% of their full-time devs on average, Mina grew by over 100%. This is what I like to see. Mina, we're just getting started. If you like privacy, we're thrilled to announce a major update to TommyPay, transforming your cryptocurrency experience. As you know, I'm a Tommy ambassador. So
that's
what's
what I was
new?
talking about.
Redesigned swap function. Excellent. Enjoy a smoother token swap journey with a revamped interface. Enhanced security, probably the most important. Introducing MEV blocker technology to safeguard your transactions against unfair attacks. Tron network support. Interesting. Now, seemingly manage your Tron funds alongside Ethereum, Binance, Bitcoin, Cardano, Matic, Solana, and Avalanche. And of course, performance enhancements, improved reliability and usability with various bug fixes. This update focuses on fortifying the foundation of TommyPay, providing you with a more secure and user-friendly multi-chain wallet. Sui, do we have any
Speaking of wallets, if anybody doesn't have a good wallet, go check out Tangem. I have a link in the description below. Use code CCXD for 10% off. It's honestly, I love it personally.
Sui fans in the house. Sui is an L1. They got some big backers. Sui, let me know in the comments if you're a Sui fan. Sui.
Did you just do that? M Ninja, appreciate.
Please stop talking about this shit.
Didn't mean to do that. Meant to do that. Thank you very much for the 199 super chats. It's happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well. Thank you.
Just surpassed Bitcoin's total value locked. With 315 million locked, Sui has seen a 10x increase in TVL in the past 9 months. Bullish? I like Uniswap, but Uniswap just got flipped. DYDX tops
DYDX. Interesting.
Uniswap as the largest DEX by volume.
That's kind of interesting. I thought Uniswap was going to stay up there.
The decentralized exchange, which last year moved over to the Cosmos blockchain. DYDX used to be Ethereum. Now it's Cosmos blockchain. Just saw 760 million of volume over a 24-hour period.
Mr. Andrew Masad said, did you see that you can swap coins inside the Tangent wallet? I did not. I'm going to have to check that out now. That's actually awesome. Dude, the Tangent is really, to me, the best wallet that I've ever had, to be honest. It's so freaking easy to use.
So it's interesting that a DEX now on the Cosmos blockchain has flipped the top one in the market in general and in the Ethereum blockchain. Interesting. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Daily videos keeping you informed. Let's talk about Cardano. I want to highlight Cardano.
Man, Cardano's been another one that people have been talking about a lot. Is anybody into ADA? I know a lot of you guys are. Miss Randy, good to see you. Good to see you. Real quick, also, Yeti, if you're in the, I know you're in the chat. Can you, when is Dynex coming to Tangent? Because I am sick of the core wallet and I'm nervous about keeping stuff on Trade Ogre. Now that, I mean, you guys know, please be safe. All right. Mr. Veteran Miner got hacked, I think, and he lost like his, I don't know, it wasn't much. It was like some money he had on the exchange, but it's crazy. Q1, all right, so it should be within the next couple months. Man, they need to hurry up.
Cardano outshining Ethereum in an interesting way. Now, if you think I'm talking way too much about
in March,
Cardano on this channel, let me know. I thought this was interesting. According to data from crypto analytics platform Into the Block, the 30-day volume of large transactions on Cardano has far outstripped that of Ethereum. I think the overall point is Cardano, people are using it. Cardano is way different today than it used to be and is now directly competing with Ethereum. If we hold $40,000, I think Bitcoin breaks all-time highs in the short term. If we fall below $40,000, I think we have a continued consolidation and don't break all-time highs for a couple months. Let me know what you think in the comments below. See you tomorrow.
Mr. Retro Mike Tech with the $4.99 super chat. Yeti is Mr. Famous now. Yes, if you guys don't know, we're gonna get into the recap segment of things. But Mr. Yeti was actually just on. He was on TV. Was it Fox Business? I don't know where you were on actually. What channel was it? What news station rather? It's gonna be, I think, airing on Monday. So we're gonna watch that. Let's see. Yeti is Famous. What? Yeah, he was on Bloomberg. Was it Bloomberg? I'm not sure, to be honest. Bloomberg TV. Okay, interesting. Do you have a Tangent code? Yes, Tangent code is CCXD. That's pretty much my code almost everywhere, right? CCXD. You get 10% off. Again, Mr. Retro Mike, appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, so, man, Dynex needs to get onto Tangent because as soon as they do, then I'll be way more comfortable holding it. But yeah, you guys got to be careful on exchanges, right? Any exchange that you guys actually hold crypto on is obviously, you know, it's not smart. Take a calculated risk. Don't hold too much, just what you're willing to lose and what you're probably going to sell. That's probably the best thing. Let's see. Yeti. Whoa, yeah, Financial Fair. Yeah, so he was on. He was all suited up, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I'm super proud of him. I know his dad would be proud. And it's a cool thing, right? It's a cool thing to see a project actually going on television and talking about it. So shout out to Yeti for putting his face out there for Dynex, which is it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You know what? Actually, do they have any plans to come out of behind the scenes? I guess like sue me. Did they say anything to you, Yeti? Are they gonna show face at any point? Mr. Retro Mike Tech. Troll. God damn it. Appreciate you. Perfect. The $4.99 super chat for the lovely pocket change. She's not even here, I don't think. I think she's getting ready for work. But yeah, man, things are crazy. Let's check out what's Dynex doing. What's it looking like? So I'm not gonna give financial advice, but I'm gonna assume on Monday we're gonna see a pump in Dynex. That's gonna be my assumption. Once people see and they're like, what the hell is this? Because they've never heard of Dynex before. So I don't know. Not financial advice. Do what you want, but I might put some into Dynex. It is super cheap right now, 57 cents. So yeah, that's that. All right, let's see. What other coins? Lithium. Let's see how Lithium's doing. Lithium took a shit the other day. $1.75. I mean, it's still relatively pretty good, right? Down 8.7%. It was at $2.50 or so, I think a week ago. Geez, 250. Yeah, almost 260. What does it say right here? Hold on. All-time high. Yeah, 259. Okay, so it's down 32%, 33% pullback. You know, pretty normal, at least in my opinion. Let's check what's Neoxa looking like. Any other coins you guys want to look at real quick before we get out of here? We have 6.8% down on Neoxa. Neoxa, I'm trying to get a master node because this coin has been relatively doing pretty good over the last year. If you guys look at this, right, it really has had, you know, a few run-ups, but once their master nodes came online, which was like, I don't even know, I think it was like here-ish, right? It's been only rising since. So this is like a gaming token. If you guys don't know, Neoxa is pretty decent in my opinion anyways. Myro, I think we looked at that, right? That's the meme coin you were talking about. Yeah, Myro up 18%. Damn, wait, this wasn't the one. What was the other one you guys said earlier? God damn it. You know what, I looked at this one the other day too and I almost did it. I almost got some. Damn it, why didn't I do it? Idiot. Stupid. Bruh. That's all right. That's crazy though. That's a big jump. 18%. That's pretty decent. What was that other coin at the beginning? Somebody said a different coin at the beginning of this, and it was a meme coin. It looked like Dogecoin, kind of something Inu. I don't remember what it was. Let's see. I figured out why Dynex has to voice change. It's really just Yeti. Or Ted, you hey, listen, you might not be wrong. Real quick, Mr. RH Max, appreciate you for the super chat. Massive green candles on the weekly. Can you pull up a chart of Pulse Chain right now? Pulse Chain, man. All right, let's see. Hold on real quick. Dynex coin. This is what you'll be talking about on Monday. Every time I have this in the background on this site, I always think my computer's lagging, but it's not the computer, it's actually how it is. But this is are you gonna be talking about the marketplace, Mr. Yeti? And RH, give me 1 second. Let me see if I gotta pull up my trading view. I'm hoping this doesn't freaking crash my computer, but if it does, we're at the end of the stream anyways, so let's see. Let me see if I can get into trading view. Let's see. Oh man, it logged me in as the wrong one. Damn it. Hold on. I don't know if I'm logged in. I need to sign in. There we go. Boo. Stupid CAPTCHA. Why is there always a stupid CAPTCHA? All right. What is it? Pulse chain? Is that what you're saying? Let me see. Pull this up. What did you say? Let me see. Hold on. Pull up the thing. Pulse chain. Which one is it? Which one? Pulse chain. This one maybe. Uniswap versus Ethereum. Is that a good one? I don't know. I honestly, I'm not a charter. I am not a charter, but you can look. What the fuck is happening here? What is up with this chart? Why does it look all speckled like that? That's weird as hell. Anyways, money's in the green. VWAP's coming up. You got the momentum coming down though. It's pretty high. The RSI is pretty high. I mean, I'm not into Pulse Chain. I don't know if this is good or bad. You guys can decide what you want. Linu is the coin that you guys are talking about. All right, let me throw this down quick. I apologize. If you guys are interested in Dynex, go check out their marketplace. It's actually pretty sweet. You do a whole bunch of stuff there. Linu, is that the one? Is that what it was? It is that one. It is that one. Thank you. Luna Inu. Linu, I guess, is the ticker. But look at this. 207%. Crazy. It's an Ethereum meme coin, apparently. But damn, this thing's taking a run. No, I don't think the COQ Inu is doing very well. Just gonna hold it, man. Just gonna hold it. Let's see. 24 hours. Take a little bit of a poop, and yeah, who knows? We're gonna see. It's probably gonna just completely take a shit. But listen, if you can capitalize on it, get in, get out. Biggest piece of advice I can give you: just get in and get out. Let's see. If you guys, you know what, Mr. RH, if you would like, I know Randy Hipper goes live in like 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes. I'm actually gonna redirect you guys over there. Go ask her to chart this. Let me see. Did you write let me see. What is hold on. Is that what I'm supposed to do here? This is what you want me to write? WPLS, and then you want me to put DAI. Like that? That's what you wanted to look at? This brand new wrapped pulse chain? I didn't realize that what your that's what your comment said in it. I mean, it looks like the momentum's coming down, but there ain't shit else there. Yeah, is this brand new? What is going on here? Wrapped pulse? Interesting. There's not much on this chart. Really nothing to look at. I apologize. I literally typed in exactly what you have on there, though. All right, let's see. Let's see. Any other coins you guys want to look at before we get out of here? Andrew Masad, no. HODL BTC, yes, absolutely. Always HODL BTC. Unless you're trying to make quick money. I mean, guys, everything's in the red. Nothing can go down forever, nothing can go up forever. So you're gonna see pullbacks no matter what you do. Right now, what coins are you guys most invested in? I have a decent amount of Ethereum Classic. I think that's gonna do fairly well in this bull run. Kaspa I have a decent amount of. Bitcoin I have a decent amount of. Obviously, Ethereum, actually I have a decent amount of Ethereum as well. No 100 Air, not gonna do that. Jeez.
Number one, I don't care. Please stop talking about this shit.
The best part was that was actually on the news. He swears on the news. All right. ETC, LTC, no. Listen. All right.
Please stop talking about this shit.
Steven Cicero, you're the worst. You are the worst. Guys, we need 5 more likes to get to 100. Appreciate you all. All right, let's see. I got a lot of BTC, ETH, Solana, and Honey. Yeah, Honey's doing, let's see. What's Honey at now? We haven't checked this since the beginning of the stream. It's at 25.8 as of right now. This coin has been going up and down over the past couple days, right? Since it's been listed. You could definitely make some money on it. I don't see why Honey's not gonna explode. It's only at $161 million market cap. It's ranked 267. Like, that is super high up on the charts and has a very good possibility of a lot of money coming into the market once people understand and realize like what this project actually is and does. It's again, not financial advice, but might be smart to get some and hold it. Bonkers. It is bonkers. Dan Ruggs says reach Athera. I don't even know how to say that. Arthera. I don't even know how you're supposed to say that when you have time. What is that? Oh, research. That's what you had said. All right, I'll look into it. I can't even say that. How do you say that? Arthera? Are you supposed to say that coin? It's not. It's a new coin. Let me see. Let's just go to Google. Let me see. Arthera crypto. What is it? This one? You know what? You told me about this. I've been to this site before. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is, but we can look into it. I remember you mentioning this though on one live stream, and I did pull up this. I remember this site. I remember looking at it. I don't know anything about it, to be fair. Don't you know, to do anything at your own risk. Don't click on shit on websites. If I could advise anything, please don't click on anything at websites. Discover a sustainable approach to Web3 by minting the Arthera, if that's how you say that, white paper. I don't know how you're supposed to say that. I mean, at least their website has a lot of shit on it now. I don't think it had anything when I first looked at it, to be honest. Scalability, our Blaze DAG consensus protocol operates on a DAG, making it more efficient than the traditional blockchain protocols. 850,000 TPS reached in a laboratory environment. Blaze DAG consensus scales infinitely. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to look this up. I'll have to dig into it a little bit and just see. But it's kind of neat. It says Web3 forget gas fees. All right, it says Athera subscriptions can streamline the user experience and offer predictable costs for business. Say goodbye to the stress of volatile gas fees. You can choose a fixed price monthly subscriptions or use a familiar pay to play gas model. Interesting. Subscribe now for $1. What? You sure it's not gonna be a rug, man? Dan Ruggs. Arthera. This is gonna be your next this is gonna be your next name for sure. All right, guys, I gotta get the hell out of here. As you always know, I gotta leave you guys with this on a Friday. So be happy, be healthy, be safe, enjoy Randy Hipper, and I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, peace out and enjoy.
I wanna hold until I can't no more.
Eat shit, Gary. You are a loser. You always lose.
if you guys are interested in Huddle Gang hoodies. I put it in the chat. Hopefully you guys have a great and happy Friday. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.